Novak Djokovic had to deal with a bizarre 90-minute delay to his first-round match at Wimbledon against Pedro Cachin. Novak Djokovic put center court fans to sleep with an activity even more boring than watching grass dry or paint dry, watching grass dry. The defending Wimbledon champion refused to go back onto court under the roof because he felt a delay in closing it when showers struck at the end of the first set had made the surface too slippery. "It was definitely frustrating for all the crowd waiting for us to come out on the court," Djokovic said after begging his son to blow on the court and watching his coach start a Mexican wave. "We both wanted to play but the conditions were not great. Obviously still slippery under the roof. Once the roof was open it was a different story. After 5 to 10 minutes we were out and about. This is the temple of tennis. This court is something special. Normally I come out with a racket and not towels. But it was fun to do something different. A little bit of a strange feeling, but hopefully you guys liked it. This is like a second home, and what a home. Coming to Wimbledon was always my childhood dream, to win it in 2011, and every year I try to reconnect with that young boy in Serbia trying to win the best tournament in the world. In truth, it was a shambolic operation to get play back underway. Eventually we had 1 vac, then 2 vacs and 3 vacs. But it all began with Novak, the world's most decorated tennis player, fighting a lone battle against the wet by wafting his towel ineffectually over the damp spots. Goran Ivanisevic, Djokovic's coach, slumped with his head on the rail at the front of the player's box, briefly closing his eyes. While some snoozed, jugs of Pimm's were carried to the more resolute crowd members. It was not just the court itself that was having problems staying dry. They spent the best part of an hour watching 3 members of the groundskeeping staff trudging across the hallowed turf, machines primed like Ghostbusters in plimsolls. All the while tournament referee Jerry Armstrong paced around, occasionally rubbing the palms of his hand on the damp surface. "It is very wise not to rush back into playing and risk damaging the surface," said BBC commentator and All England Lawn Tennis Club member Tim Henman impartially. There is plenty of time left in the tournament. Just when time seemed in danger of stopping completely, the sun came out. The roof was opened again and the last vestiges of dampness disappeared with the inrush of fresh air. Play finally resumed exactly 90 minutes after the previous point had been secured, a set point for Djokovic after an early wobble. The 36-year-old had seemed distracted in the early exchanges and suffered a break in his second game following an uncharacteristic double fault. But he soon found his rhythm, attacking the net regularly and putting away some devastating volleys. Pedro Cachin served powerfully, but when Djokovic guessed right, the returns were even better. After the elongated break, those factors became even more significant, with the Serb breaking immediately on resumption. The second set became a formality, but the third was less so. At one point in the third game, the 23-time Grand Slam champion was left looking as though he had been pegged out on the net after chasing down a drop shot. It took a tie-break, but it was Cachin being hung out to dry. Djokovic finally walked off court nearly 4 hours after initially strolling onto it. However, that was just 2 hours and 12 minutes of actual game time to march into the second round.